Hello, everybody. Welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Jules.
Hello, everyone.
Jules, my friend, the GTA Trilogy Remake Remaster Redux is out in the wild. The first teaser for it, 59 seconds of gameplay they've shown. What's your immediate thoughts? We haven't talked about it before we started recording.
What a minute it was, mate. It was a minute of my life that I will not be asking for back because I enjoyed every single second of it. I was getting very worried about this project, if I'm honest, because of the fact that Rockstar has been incredibly quiet about it, other than just saying it's coming, don't worry, and it might cost £75.
So that is now confirmed
it
as
doesn't.
£60.
We will discuss that in a minute because this is a bone of contention still. But when viewing this and actually seeing the footage of what they've done, how the remaster is working, I personally feel very assured by this. I do think that this deserves the title of definitive because of the fact that in terms of graphics, at least, it looks like they have polished everything up to a level far and beyond the originals. The frame rate looks incredibly smooth. The lighting looks ridiculously good for what they've applied it to. And there does seem to be even extra motions within the guys, their little facial animations. I was like, okay. Everything looks a bit cartoony, but I'm kind of digging it.
So we'll definitely get to the cartoony thing because I've seen it. I'm already seeing a divisive reaction to people going like, "Oh my god, it looks like Lego," and I think that.
What do people expect?
I don't know.
I don't understand this. How can you take a game that is from like absolutely eons ago and literally tell people we're just like up-resing it and putting a new skin thing over it, and people getting disappointed by it? Like, well, I guess they're not going to remake this with GTA 5 graphics.
No,
I think spoiled if you think that is the case.
Yeah, if you were going in thinking it's going to be Red Dead Redemption 2 style overhaul. Although, I mean, the only thing that people were going off was there was a comment from Strauss Zelnick, Take-Two Strauss Zelnick, saying that they were going back to the source, they were upgrading them for a modern audience or something like that. So I can see why people might take that and run with it. But for me, it is exactly what it should look like. I remember when it was a few years ago, there was a fan mod version of Vice City's cutscenes. It looks almost identical to what they've done now. It feels like they've just targeted that sort of fan mod version of Vice City, GTA 3 San Andreas, and just sort of aimed for that. And I think it has enough of the soul of the originals in there. It's still quite it is intentionally cartoony. That's why I love old school GTA. Like, it should just be this big fun chaotic sandbox of different missions and possibilities and stuff, and the aesthetic only reinforces that. Like, I'm up for over the top gangster archetypes, stereotypes. You know, I'm up for a game that encourages me to stunt a car off a ramp and fly it into a train. Like, I'm up for that. And that was the thing that in obviously GTA 4 it changed everything and they went down a different route altogether. 5 then became kind of a hybrid of the two. But I loved old school GTA, so I love the cartoony look of it. Absolutely.
Do you know what it's done? It's actually managed to homogenize the actual look of it because, you know, when like Crash Remastered came out, the Insane Trilogy, that basically made sure it condensed all of the graphics to make it work across all of them. They changed how Crash felt so that, it would work all the way across. I actually think that the way that they've approached the graphics here, there is a huge discrepancy between the art styles of GTA 3 and San Andreas, whereas this ties them all together to look kind of the same, like they belong in the same universe. And I think that is very important when you're trying to do a remaster because you want it to be a cohesive package. Let the gameplay be different, let that evolve, but things to look fairly the same.
So there's one massive missing thing at the minute, which is like a full mission gameplay. Because they talked about if you go, because if on the, I think it's on the True Achievements website. Our own Dan Durkin, editor Dan Durkin, sent me a link, which is where they've confirmed the price and they've confirmed it is going to be £60, going to be $60. There's like it's got some listings on there about what features are included. Obviously, most of them are in the trailer: the new lighting engine, the new graphics engine, and the look of it and stuff. But they haven't, and it mentions upgraded aiming mechanics and gameplay stuff. But obviously, we haven't seen that yet. We've seen majority of driving is what's in the trailer. But they've, GTA 5 is the most adjacent thing in terms of how they've changed the way that it feels. I really want to see that before I get in full hype mode because I never minded old school GTA aiming, but the gaming industry has come a long way in regards to third person aiming. I mean, like all GTAs were before Resident Evil 4, so it's before all the over shoulder stuff and everything.
If we're being honest about it, Rockstar themselves haven't exactly nailed the shooting mechanics until like maybe GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, and even like the amount of times that when you're playing Red Dead Redemption 1 and you just try and walk out of a door, but because of the walk cycle, just like it's like the guns that I'm just slipping and sliding all around the place.
I do wonder if because they made the Rage engine for GTA 4, the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, which is where they started doing all that more fun ragdoll stuff and lots of different ways that the physics can bounce off each other. I wonder if that's been retroactively applied to this, and so if you have the new game's aiming model and the physics model, that would be incredible, considering the mission design is already really open-ended in this anyway.
All I'm thinking is that do we actually have any confirmation at all that GTA 5 is the shooting style that they're going to be adapting it from?
I forget where that was mentioned for the first time.
If it was mentioned on just like a rumors site, then we've got to take that with a pinch of salt, because it might be that updated aiming just means that it's easier to switch targets. It's easier to lock on. It literally just might be a refinement. And I wouldn't necessarily be that upset if that was the case, but it's a pretty big overhaul to say that the entire shooting engine is going to be dropped into it. I mean, if they're going to do that, they might as well apply it to a load of other things and remake the entire thing.
Well, I mean, if this goes down well, which it clearly will, I mean, they said they were looking into doing more remasters if this sells well, which obviously it's GTA. It'll probably be all right.
Bully.
Do the Warriors, for the love of God, do the Warriors.
If they did that, I would be so happy, man.
The thing is, as well, if they've overhauled the city and the lighting engine, then you have those cities for Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories. Like, Vice City Stories is one of the most overlooked GTAs of all time. I love Vic Vance. That's a cool character.
Okay, just on other games, I know that we're meant to be talking about GTA, we will come back to it.
Yes.
Just think of the other games that they could do if they did go down the remaster treatment. I'm not thinking of like Manhunt and stuff like that. No, sirree. I'm thinking of Ping Pong. Rockstar's Ping Pong. Get that going.
Well, that was what they made that's what the Rage engine was spun off into, because they wanted to recoup some money. To quote some stuff from True Achievements, it says that the updated trilogy features updated controls, including improvements to targeting, updated weapon and radio station wheels, updated mini-maps, and enhanced navigation. Rockstar also confirms there will be updated achievements. The trilogy has a new lighting system, improved shadows, weather, and upgraded character and vehicle models.
Okay, I'm just saying right now, it's not going to be GTA style shooting. From that quote, no way. They would say that it's like, they wouldn't just say that it's an updated. That they use the things that like they are refining something that already exists. If they had said rehauled shooting system, then I totally would be on board with the GTA 5 style shooting.
As someone who played through the trilogy like across most of the last 20 odd months, I'll be amazed if they put the original aiming system back in. It's so floaty and all over the place.
They are bad. What I would say is there were actually changes made between GTA 3 and San Andreas in terms of the shooting, albeit small ones. There wasn't a huge leap for them. I say that if they take if they take GTA San Andreas's things and put that in there, then they can qualify by saying that it is technically a new way of shooting for GTA 5 and Vice City. Sorry, GTA 3 and Vice City. So I wouldn't get your hopes up necessarily on that one. I wouldn't say that that's the thing to pin it on.
Yeah, I think I'm just more curious. Like, I'm just curious what they do to the feel of those games, and it's also that's the thing, to bring it back to that sort of not massively divisive response, but like some people going like, oh my god, this looks like Lego, this looks cartoony, and people like us going, that's what it used to look like, that's what it's supposed to look like, it's supposed to have a almost playfully violent tone. I wonder if that is also the case where they almost need to do something like that for the new audience, lest people go, oh my god, this feels like hell, this doesn't feel like modern Rockstar.
Unfortunately for them, Rockstar have kind of shot themselves in the foot by sticking with one game over and over, pushing out its online. Like, everyone has seen GTA 5 to be the benchmark of what Rockstar puts out, Red Dead Redemption 2 aside. And as a result, they're thinking, looking back at this retroactively, well, it doesn't look as good as GTA 5. I'm sorry, kids, but it doesn't work like that. Like,
no.
Again, I would go back to this thing of the whole remaster remake thing. If it was a remake, then yes, you have a legitimate cause to be upset, because they could have addressed that and made a whole new graphics engine specifically for it. This is a remaster. This is literally the polishing of a diamond. It's not meant to be cutting a new one.
No, I feel like they're kind of walking a line though, because like the new character models for Claude and Tommy Vercetti and CJ, like they are new character models. Like Claude especially looks notably upgraded, notably plasticky. Like I like that look, but it does look like an action figure walking around. And so, like, I get that maybe that's not what you're after, kind of thing. But what did you think of because there is a new lighting engine, there are reflections on everything, which I think is one of the best upgrades. Because personally, like, obviously I love that original trilogy, but I love the feel of GTA 3. I love that smoky, steamy, rain-swept version of their fake New York. And I think that's a really great aesthetic. It's really identifiable, and the new stuff lets that sing even more.
Well, I feel like the contrast has just been turned all the way up, and it's kind of like the Saturday morning cartoon vibe in terms of the aesthetics of that. But like when you look at the whole air looked completely smog free, and I was a bit like, I kind of agree with you. I like the grittiness. I kind of like that Silent Hill fog used to hide technical limitations style thing. And I worry that if this is completely gone and we have incredible draw distances, then maybe we'll start to see the edges around the things that kind of take away from that nostalgic moment.
If you ever Google San Andreas from the air or from the sky, a lot of people, if you've not revisited those games in a couple decades, like in the longest time, those play spaces were very small. Like obviously San Andreas is sizable, but the original GTA 3, if you look at it from the sky, it looks like a small little sandbox. Little play box, and I love that for it. It's sort of like it's very condensed. The level design's really cool. I love the amount of stunt ramps that are everywhere. For me, it's a very fun play space. But it is that thing of if you get rid of all the technical limitations that were in the way that made you maybe think it was bigger than it was, then maybe people. I'm just interested what a new generation thinks of the old GTAs, or what people think when they return to them if they haven't played them for 2 decades.
I feel like it's going to be a wake-up call for a lot of people. For the people who are newcomers coming into the franchise, they're going to be like, wow, okay, things have definitely come a long way. And maybe for like diehards like us, we're going to come back to it and be like, yeah, there was a lot of problems with it, but that's part of its charm.
That's my side.
I never, ever held any of the GTA games up as being perfect. I never said that this game is without flaw, because even little things, like they have to address, if they're going back to do these remasters, they need to address some of the mission parameters. Some of the, I'm not going to swear on this, but absolute bull. Like a lot of them. There's that one mission that absolutely did my nut in, which is where you've got to collect packages in a Humvee. And it was in GTA 3, and my God, I had hair and I pulled it out. I hated that.
The eggifying of dual skill. I mean, the thing is, like, over that trilogy, you've got supply lines from from San Andreas. You've got Demolition Man from Vice City with the little helicopter. There was
all you had to do was follow the train, CJ. That's
so
not fixed.
many. No, well, that's the thing. How much are they going to go back into those mission designs and tweak them and change them? Because modern Rockstar is very much go here, stand here, shoot this exact person, and then leave and do the final thing. Whereas I love the old school chaotic nature of it, but I wonder how much they've gone in and actually tweaked that, because some stuff, it kind of was chaotic to a fault, or it was sort of, you're on a bike, go stunted onto a train or whatever, and the physics will absolutely screw you 10 times in a row before you get it. And I wonder if that's another thing that they've sort of tightened. Another thing as well to point out is that they do show some vehicle stuff. There's one bit where Bassetti's on a bike, and even from the way that bike arcs through traffic, it looks like it's the same driving physics model.
Which I'm happy with.
I'm totally happy with that too. I'm guessing that part, but I just from the look of it, I don't think they've done a GTA 4, 5 style physics thing instead.
I want to keep them as far away from the driving of I was going to say Resident Evil 4 them for some reason. We keep it away from the Resident Evil 4 because that's how alien it felt from Grand Theft Auto 4. Like I did not enjoy the driving.
God, I hated Force driving. Yeah.
So slow to accelerate and so slow to stop. I'm just like, come on, man.
That's another thing. Like if you go back to these original games, like you can pretty much turn on a pin. Like it's sort of like which only benefited the cop chases and getting away and evading and stuff. So there's a whole attitude, a whole feel to old school GTA that I miss. That's why I go back to the original ones. That I feel like they got away from as it got more quasi-realistic, especially in 4 and 5. And so this, for me, was absolutely pitch perfect. I understand the qualms of people having a bit of a go at the graphics, but it's fine.
But I have one question to finalize this little news reaction to you, mate. All of that, take all of those emotions. Are you prepared to pay 60 quid for it?
Yes, I'm an absolute idiot, moron person. I'll be getting it at midnight. You know what I'll be doing. That's what I do.
Please, someone in the comments section or at us at Twitter with Scott, you are an idiot moron person.
I'll get a t-shirt made. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, Josh was just like, I'll be getting this day one. I mean, I don't know who. The thing is, like, they were always going to be walking a line with just how much of the P word can they take with the pricing of this. And the rumored price was £70 or $70. 60 is a lot for 2-decade-old games.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder. Like I said, I want to see more full mission gameplay. I want to see how much is there. If they are sizable reworks where everything from gameplay to graphics has been overhauled, then I think that's closer to being justified £60. It's still a lot. That's a hell of a lot.
I'm far lower in my acceptable price point for this because the GTA Trilogy pack came out for the original Xbox where it was a condensed thing, and that was a less than full price title. It was like 30 quid and a realm of 40 to 50 quid games. We are now in the situation where they're trying to say this is a discount to us. It's coming out at 60 quid, which is still a full price title on the PS4, even like one of the higher end full price titles on that. This should be, at best, a 40 quid title.
There's also
because
the
there's
fact...
nothing there. Sorry, there's nothing on these two consoles, on the PC, on the new PlayStation and Xbox, that justifies this, because it is not taxing them in the slightest in terms of what it's going to be asking from them. So,
well, there's also the fact that they have now removed the original versions of those games on all storefronts. So if you want the original trilogy, you have to buy this one, and then you can see the A to B to C on their business plan, because it's like, well, we're going to force you down this road, and it's full price. Do you want GTA or not? And then it literally is the value of the brand, which obviously it's the biggest entertainment brand in history.
Yeah,
so
the A to B to C for them is buy it, you cock.
A to B to CJ from GTA 3 to San Andreas. But yes, let us know what you think down in the comments below of the first gameplay of the GTA Definitive Trilogy. We are mostly psyched, and hopefully it turns out well when we get to see more of it. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
And I've been Jules.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.